Hello bookworms, welcome back to my channel. I hope you're all well. Today's video we are doing my February TBR. There's a lot of books, and considering it's the shortest month of the year, I have no idea what I am doing. But here goes, let's get straight into the video and see all of the books that I am reading for this month. February is going to be a big, busy month with books because, you know, I tend to put so many books on February's TBR every year because, you know, I like to just make it hard for me, especially when it is the shortest month of the year. But yeah, I think I'll be able to do it, fingers crossed, because a lot of these books are either books continuing on from a series, or they're books on my Kindle and they're romance, and I know I'm just going to fly through them. So I think we might be okay. We'll see. But I'm going to actually do this video in sections. So the first section is going to be the books that are on my TBR. They're what I've chosen to read. They're not from book clubs or anything like that. These are the books that I just want to read for me. Then we'll go on to book clubs, and also I'm going to do that as buddy reads as well. And then we're going to go along on to read-alongs, and then the last lot is going to be readathons. So you will already be aware that I am participating in the Winter Olympicsathon hosted by Clumsy Charlotte. You would have seen that video on TBR, so I won't go fully into that readathon. I'll just show you the books so you know which ones I did fully decide. But I am participating in another readathon, which is mainly hosted on Twitter. I was going to do a separate video, but my daughter's actually off school this week. She's not very well. We're not 100% sure whether she's got COVID again, because she's got a high temp and pretty much showing exactly the same signs she did when she had COVID, although this time she's 10 times worse. But she won't let her test her, so we decided just to keep her off all week because we would have had to if it was COVID anyway. So I was going to do a separate video, but I just don't have a lot of time to film because she's very clingy, and second thing, if I do film, she's playing or something, it's very noisy, so I'm trying to like film when it's not so noisy so you don't hear it. So I was like, I'll just combine it into this. So the last bit of readathon, I will go through the second one more, because obviously I haven't done any video for that. So yeah, they're going to be in sections, and let's get on to the sections, which I just realised I've put in the wrong order because your girl's not organised. So this section is my TBR, what I've picked for me, nothing else. And first up is A Shadow in the Ember by Jennifer L. Armentrout, which is a Flesh and Fire series. I don't know whether it's going to be a duology or whether it's like a trilogy. I'm not 100% sure, but I know it is a series. And basically this is not following on from Blood and Ash series, but it's set around like the same sort of, like, I think it's like before that series, but it's still the same world sort of thing. But basically we're following Seraphina, who is the maiden, and she's basically chosen to uphold the desperate deal her ancestor struck to save his people. Sarah must leave behind her life and offer herself to the primal of death as his consort. And basically what she has to do is make the primal of death fall in love with her, become his weakness, and then basically she has to end him. So she's basically made into an assassin, and she has to kill the primal of death. But obviously when she meets him, she sees a different side of him and falls in love, and so is that. So we're following the maiden again, we're following that sort of story, and I'm not 100% sure whether this storyline, what happens and goes on here, is what made Blood and Ash, like what's going on in that. I'm not 100% sure, but a few people have already read this and absolutely love it. They even say it's better than Blood and Ash. You know how much I love Blood and Ash series. It is my favourite. I love Jennifer L. Armentrout's writing. So as much as this is a new book in the series, it has obviously got the same similarities as Blood and Ash series. So I feel like this might be a new slight world with new characters, but it's going to be very easy. I read Blood and Ash in one day. It did not take me long. I could not put it down. I honestly think I'm going to be like that with this. I think I'm just going to breeze through it. I know it's 10 times steamier than the other books, so I'm very excited for this. So yeah, well, I would like to actually read that, and I'm very excited for it. Continuing on a series, because I want to try and read at least a book in a series throughout these months just to scratch off series I need to finish for this year, is A Strange Hymn by Laura Talessa, which is book 2 of the Bargainer series. So again, we're following Calypso and Des, and obviously the end of book 1, they're together, and I can't remember whether they actually got married or something. I can't remember. I know they're together, but where they thought things ended, it hadn't. Like, it's continuing on. I'm not going to go into what this book is about because if you haven't read the first book, it's spoilers. But you know how much I love the first book. Like, I've been wanting to read The Bargainer for ages, and I decided to treat myself to it because these books are quite expensive for a paperback. But I really wanted to get the paperback. I ended up getting a whole series, and I've been desperately wanting to pick up the second and third book anyway. But I also wanted to pick this up because obviously there's is it FaRoFeb, I think it's called, which is basically fantasy romance sort of readathon that's going on. Like I'm sort of like wanting to participate, but I don't think I can. So I thought I would just read some books that fit that sort of trope, which I know this does. But yeah, I'm really excited to read this. I think this is going to take me very short, numerous hours to read this because it's not as big as the first book. So I have a feeling if this ends again on a cliffhanger like the first book, I might end up picking up the third book in this month as well, just because I want to know what happens. But we'll see, because I do have a lot of books. But this is very short compared to the other two, so I think this won't take me long. But I'm really excited to be back with these two characters. I absolutely love them. They are so steamy. They're like, I'm really excited for this, and I'm really curious to see how this book plays out, because in the first book you thought things finally ended and it was happy, and then the last bit it was like, actually no. So yeah, I'm really excited to pick this up. And then this book is actually a reread, which is Crescent City 1, House of Earth and Blood by Sarah Jane Maas. So obviously, I think you're all aware, and I think everyone in the world is aware, that Crescent City 2 comes out on the 15th of February. So I want to read this, which I am actually currently reading, and I'm already, I don't even know where I am. Where am I? I'm on chapter 19, page 209. So I breezed through this. Like, it's not going to take me long to read this, but I wanted to reread it purely because I can't remember what happened. I remembered the beginning bit because I knew that happened, and obviously synopsis says it as well. But I actually couldn't remember how it ended, and I was just like, I need to know, because when I pick up the second book, if it carries on or whatever, you know, I need to remember what's going on. So we're picking this up to then lead on to the next book, which is Crescent City 2, which is House of Sky and... Is it House of Sky and Breath? Oh, I always get it wrong. Whatever it is. But it comes out on the 15th of February. I am making sure that on the 15th of February, like the next couple of days from then, that I have not got a book to read, because I need to pick that up. I know for well, when I get it in my hands, it's going to be like, right, nothing else. I actually have got the Waterstones edition because I know it's got like a extra bit in it, so I'm not 100% sure whether I'll get it dead on the 15th or whether it will come the following day. Like, I know when you do pre-orders with Amazon, it will come straight on that day, but Waterstones is a little bit longer. So I'm going to leave a few days from the 15th just so it can come, because I know for well I'm going to want to pick it up. So we're going to be rereading this, and then when the book comes, we'll be reading Crescent City 2, and I'm really excited because I need to know whether Bryce and Hunt actually get it on and become a couple, because my word, really awesome. And then lastly on my TBR is These Hollow Vows by Lexi Ryan. I've been really wanting to pick this up, and I am doing a Fairy Loot vlog for the whole year, so every month I'll read a book for from my Fairy Loot editions that I got. I wasn't able to do January purely because COVID hit, and the only actual weekend I had to myself to do a vlog, I had to go to a different vlogs that took more priority. So I'm actually going to read 2 Fairy Loot Edition books for this month. So it will, like, so I read 2 books for this month, but it would have been January and February. But yeah, I know what I'm doing. You'll see what I'm doing when you can see it. But I'm actually also buddy reading this with Lucy. I'm actually buddy reading her with another book, which is also a Fairy Loot book. We decided that we're actually going to do a monthly buddy read each month, and we're going to actually read a book from Fairy Loot, which works really well because it will go along well with my vlog that I'm doing, but also because she's got Fairy Loot and she's like me, she doesn't want to read the books, but they're sitting looking really pretty and we should read them. So we're both going to be buddy reading each book from Fairy Loot. So yeah, so we're also buddy reading this as well as another one which I'll get to in a minute, but I'm really excited for this because it is, I think, an enemies to lovers trope. It's all about Fae. It's very much got the sort of ACOTAR vibes to it, just probably a little bit darker. I heard nothing but good things about this book, so I'm really excited to read it. And like, it's a gorgeous cover like this, but when you actually take it off the dust jacket, it's just equally beautiful. So yeah, I'm really excited to pick this up and see how it goes, because I also think it's a love triangle as well, and I can be a bit hit and miss with them, but a lot of people, when I've seen their reviews, they said actually the love triangle is really good, and the love triangle is actually you like both of the people, and so it's one of those ones where you're not like, I want this one and it doesn't happen. It's actually both are equally you want this person to be with. So I'm intrigued to see how that goes. And then on to book club / buddy reads. So going on to the buddy reads, that's what I'm going was just left on with Lucy. I'm also reading Once Upon a Broken Heart by Stephanie Garber, which again, enemies to lovers, very excited for. I've heard nothing but good things, and this is another gorgeous edition. Like, we've got beautiful end pages. It's beautiful under the dust jacket, and yeah, and I need to read this anyway because it's actually for one of the readathon prompts as well, which I'll get to in a minute. So this is I'm buddy reading it, but it's also on a prompt, so I definitely need to read. But I'm really excited for this. It says, how far would you go for happily ever after? Like, it basically is Evangeline Fox believed in happily ever after until she learns that the love of her life is about to marry another and her dreams are shattered. Desperate to stop the wedding and heal her wounded heart, she strikes a deal with the charismatic but wicked Prince of Heart. In exchange for his help, he asks for 3 kisses to be given at a time and place of his choosing. But after Evangeline's first promised kiss, she learns that bargaining with an immortal is a dangerous game, and that the Prince of Hearts wants far more from her than she pledged. But also at the same time, she quite likes him, and so I think she sort of falls in love with him too. So we're reading that, me and Lucy, and I'm very excited. I've heard nothing but good things, and it's a beautiful edition. And then I'm also buddy reading with Kaz, Girl Serpent Fawn by Melissa Bassahardos. Oh, I am really awful at pronouncing people's names. I'm so sorry. But we're reading this purely because it's been on my TBR for flipping ages. Like, I think I've had this longer than some of my other longer books I've had, and it's a beautiful cover. And I don't know why I don't pick it up. But we decided we're going to read this, and I'm really excited about this because it's princess or monster, and I kind of like these type of books, so we're gonna buddy read this. I think we've arranged that we're gonna read 10 chapters each, so once we've read the 10 chapters we'll chat and then go from there, whereas my buddy read with Lucy, we're just gonna read it our own pace and then we'll catch up and chat and find out where we are. More than likely I might be ahead of her just because I read fast, but we'll see. Then we're on to book clubs. Actually, yeah, we're on to book clubs, but also we'll get to the other bits as well. So for my book club, we're reading Daughter of Smoke and Bone by is it Laini Taylor or Lani Taylor? I'm never sure. But everyone wanted to read this. I was quite shocked because I put fantasy romance and then I also put contemporary romance, and this just won. Like, everyone wanted to read this, and I was like, oh, okay, I was expecting contemporary romance from people, but people wanted to read this. But I don't know much about this book. I've had it for I had the old edition of the first book, and then I was going to go and continue on with the series, but the series came with this edition, and I was like, I don't want different ones. I hate it when you have different books in the series. So I was like, do you know what? I'm just going to get rid of that and treat myself to the new series. So I actually got this from the Works because they had all of the books there. But I actually can't remember what this is about. I have a feeling it's got, I think it's to do with angels, like angels and something. So it's got like a supernatural element to it. I can't fully remember what happens, but once I read it, I'll know. But I'm really excited for this. A lot of people actually recommended me this when I asked for recommendations for the 12 books challenge thing. But I was planning to put this as an option for my book club thing. So I was just like, well, if my book club doesn't choose this, then I would read this as one of the choices for that. But in the end, my book club really wanted to read this. I really don't know what it is. I can't remember. But I do think one of the main characters is an angel. But yeah, I'm really excited for this. I know it's a fantasy. I know it's also got like supernatural bits. And yeah, I think we're all going to have a blast with that book. Again, like I mentioned... no, I didn't mention in this one. I mentioned it in my video. Ignore that. Ignore me. I'm reading The Poppy War by Arth Kwang, which is Ashley from Frolic Through Fiction. I always get it wrong. It's a tongue twister for me. But she does like bi-monthly book clubs. So January and February was Sorcery of Thorns by Margaret Rogerson and The Poppy War by R.F. Kwang. So I decided The Poppy War was going to be read for February because I did have chunky books in January and this is quite big. So I am going to be reading this for this month, and this is also going to be on my other readathons prompts. You'll see this book around a lot, to be honest. But I'm very excited to read this. I've heard nothing but good things. Ashley started reading this in one of her sprints she did, and she was already loving it from the start. And I feel like we have similar tastes, so I'm intrigued to see whether I will be loving it just at the start, because I do feel when it's the first book in a series it takes a while to get into. But I'm really excited for this. Like, I've been putting this book off for a while purely because it is big, it is a first book in a series, and I'm like, what about if I don't like it? But all the reviews I've seen, everyone loves the series, and this series seems to get better and better as they've read it, like as they read each book. So I'm like, I'm sure I'm going to love this. So we'll be reading this, and you'll be seeing a lot of this book because it will be mentioned in my readathon. So that's why it's coming to sit there. I'm also continuing on with the read along with Sydney with the Bone Saga series. So I read Jade City in January. I'll be reading Jade War for this month. I got it on my Kindle, so I'll be reading it on my Kindle. So very excited to see how that continues on. And also we are reading for Sydney's main book club pick, Storyland, which I did start reading. I got from the library and I did start reading. And I wasn't sure. It was very different to what I'm used to reading. So I'm intrigued to see whether I'm going to love it or not. She has got a buddy read, which is Amari, the second book of Amari and the Night Brothers, but that actually doesn't come out in the UK till later on this year, so I couldn't really join in even if I wanted to, purely because I won't be able to get the book, and I haven't read the first book anyway, so I won't be doing a buddy read. So I'm trying to read the book club read because I haven't for last month, and I can't remember. I don't think I did it for no, I did December. Yes, I did December. So I'm trying to read them because, you know, I'm on the Patreon, I'm giving money to it. Surely I need to participate to get my money's worth. So I definitely will be reading Jade War. I'm hoping to enjoy Sorrowland, and I think as I get into it I'll probably understand more, but we'll see. Then we're on to I don't even know how right. Okay, this one's technically classed as readathon, so I'll leave that. We're on to the 12 books 12 challenge. I will be doing a video of my actual full TBR for each month. I just need to film it. I'll film it eventually, I just don't know when. But for this month I'm going to go with Anxious People by Frederick Backman. Someone recommended this to me and I was like, ooh, and then when I I liked the sound of it, so I had a look, and then I saw it was a Netflix series, and I was like, is it? I thought, well, I've never seen it. So I went on my Netflix to see whether it was, or whether it was like a Netflix series but it was only out in the US or something. And no, there is actually a Netflix series, and I was just like, oh, okay. So this is for the 12 books thing, but I'm also going to read this and then watch the series and see how I think about both of them. So I'll probably do a vlog with both of that. But yeah, I'm very intrigued about this. Basically, a bank robber takes everyone hostage, and I like these type of books. But the people who are hostages have all got these dark secrets. They're very interesting and strange, and it just says, as the police gather outside, the anxious strangers huddle within, trying to make the best of a very sticky situation. But could it be that they have a whole lot more in common than meets the eye? Yeah, I'm very intrigued. All of the characters sound really interesting, and I think I am gonna love this. I also quite like there's different there's like a mixed media in here, like we've got like a witness interviews, so yeah, I'm very excited for this. I think this is going to be a blast. You're going to see a sort of theme here because I actually have a couple of Frederick Backman books to read this month. But I read A Man Called Ove and I absolutely loved it. Like, it was so sad, but I loved it. I like his writing, and I'm actually quite glad I've got a few of his books because I think he's becoming an author I quite like. But yeah, we're reading that for the 12 book challenge thing, but I'm going to do a vlog of that because I am doing vlogs for that, but also I'm going to watch the series as well so you can see my reactions and what I think of the series to the book. Then we're on to read-alongs. Let's go with the read-alongs. So I have been chosen, I'm really excited for to participate in a read-along and a watch-along with Tandem Collective and Lattice Death on the Nile by Agatha Christie. So the read-along starts on the 11th of February, which is when the movie comes out. Now the watch-along, they have got a select cinemas where we can all meet up and go. Unfortunately, I don't live in any of those areas. So I did send them an email to say, I don't live anywhere near there and I'm not even local enough to, like, you know, it is quite a travel for me, and depending on when it is, depending on if I'm going to get there, and you know, it would, having to rely on my father, bless him. So I was like, is there any chance that, you know, I can watch, like, is there any chance it's going to be any in Bristol or Western, or even better if it was local to me? But they said that if everyone who can't go to the select places that have been, we will be getting our own tickets to use at our local cinema. So I've just filled out a form to say which one's my local cinema is, so I've obviously picked my local cinema, which is Crescent. So I will still be able to obviously watch the movie, but it won't be like where everyone, like, you know, if people live in London, all the people are participating in the read along and watch along, they will all meet in the thing. It's like their own sort of screen thing, but at least I still get to watch the movie. Now, I'm excited for this, but I'm a bit worried because I read one Agatha Christie book and it was the first one in the Poirot series, and I did not like it. It was just, I think I kind of went into it thinking it was going to be a thriller. It isn't, it's more like a murder mystery. And I think now, knowing that's what it is, my thought process will be a little bit different in regards to sort of knowing it's not actually a thriller, it is a mystery. I did try reading Murder on the Orient Express. I read a couple of chapters and I was actually enjoying that. And Hannah, Bound by Crown, who's my book bestie, she said the more books Poirot does, the more books Agatha Christie does, the better they are. She said her favourite book out of all of them is Death on the Nile. It's the most chunkiest book she's written because she usually does small ones, but she said it's just so well done and so clever, and she said I honestly think you will like it because it's different POVs and it is like a very much this crime happened and then you're finding out, so it's more detective work. So she thinks I will enjoy it. So this is going to be my like second proper try with Agatha Christie, but I feel because it's a read along, I have a push to do it, and I also think because it's a watch along as well, like I feel like if maybe the book doesn't do it for me or I don't understand it, I think the movie will make me understand it more. But I'm really excited for it, so yeah, I think it's going to be fun, and I love doing watch alongs with Tandem Collective. They really are amazing. And then this last read along is a I might do, I might not. I haven't fully decided quite yet. But it's run by Mythic Pages, which is Dasha, but she's also got other booktubers participating, like hosts and stuff like that, so I think they're going to do live shows and things like that. But she's doing the Witcher series read along, so each month is each book, and the first book for this month is The Last Witch, which is by Andrzej Sapkowski. I'm sorry, I probably said that completely wrong. So I tried requesting it from the library and it was still being placed, and I was just like, okay, I'm not 100% sure whether I'm going to get it in time, because a lot of libraries had this on hold. So I took it off. I was like, I'm not going to wait. So I haven't actually got the book as of yet, because I'm not 100% sure whether I am or am I or not, because it's more purely because of this month. So this month is really busy, but I do know that the first two books that we're reading for Feb and March are like sort of prequels. They're like short stories. They're not actually the main books of the series. So I think I'm going to get it on Kindle, and I think I'm going to see if I can try. If I don't read it this month, then I will definitely put it on my TBR to read for March, and I'll read that one and the book in. So if I so I'm not delayed where I'm out, I will just read both of the ones that I need to for March. So I'm putting it on here because I might read it if I've got room, or I've bashed out all these books and everything, then I will read it for this month. If not, I will push it to next month, and I'll also read next month's book as well, because they are short stories. It's not the actual main series, so it's a bit easier. And alongside like readathons, whichever you would like to class it, I'm obviously taking part in Buzzwordathon. And so Buzzwordathon is for February, like pronouns, so she, her, he, him, but also it's like possessive ones as well, so they, them, us, that kind of thing. So I'm going to be reading Us Against You by Frederick Backman, which is the second book in the Beartown series, or it's a duology, so this book carries on from that. Beartown is on my TBR, so don't think that I haven't read it. I will be reading it. But it's us, but also you. Both of these fit the pronouns, so this was an easy pick, but I knew full well I wanted to pick this up because Beartown's on one of my readathon TBRs and it sounds so good. I know Reagan from Bruce Project has just read it and she loved Beartown. She said it's there is some trigger warnings, which is rape and stuff like that, which she put out there, and I was like, right, now I know that's that. Like I'm prepared, but I honestly think I'm gonna love Beartown. She loved it, and she like it's like a thriller, but yeah, I'm just so intrigued, and this carries on from it. And I know if I end Beartown, I might just really badly want to read the next book. So we're gonna be reading that, and I'm very excited for it. And now we're on to the readathons, and I just lost my thing. I needed this. Right, let's get on to Olympicsathon, because you already know that. So this is running on the 2nd to the 20th of February, so it was like 2.5 bits, like, yeah, 2.5 weeks. So where is it? It's because it's next to me. We're not organised here, guys. We're not organised. So for that TBR, so we have for 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 like main prompts and then 2 bonus prompts. So for the main prompts are for winter, I've got Beartown because I'm guessing it's set in a wintry thing. Like when I first tried out the chapter, it sort of mentioned snow on the cars. The cover is very snowy. So that's kind of how I went for. So we got winter. So for sport, I got From Lukov with Love, which is by Mariana Zapani, something like that, which is a ice skating or figure skating, whichever one you want. That's the sport, so that's on my Kindle, but it's a romance. It's steamy. I think I'm going to love it. And then a book related to the country you're representing, so I'm Team GB, so I'm going to be reading A Darker Shade of Magic by V.E. Schwab, because it's set in London and alternative Londons as well, so very much fits. And this is going to actually be my first few Schwab that I read, because I did try The Invisible Life of Addie LaRue and never finished it, so it would be nice to actually read one of her books, because I have quite a few of her books on their way and I need to actually know if I like her writing. A book related to China, which is The Host, The Poppy War. Like I said, this is going to be mentioned a lot. And then Paralympics, which is a book with disability rep. On my Kindle, we're doing a Bride test, which is by Helen Hong, I think, and that is autism rep. So that's for that. I need a drink because I've got a very, yeah. Then we're on to the readathon that I haven't talked about. It's mainly on Twitter. So it's called the Royal Readathon, and it's an animal edition. I can't remember who it's hosted by now because I didn't write it down, but editing me will tell you. But it is on Twitter mainly, but I know one of them did, I think it's Liv and Becca. So I think Liv did the announcement video on BookTube, and I think Becca did some recommendations. But basically, I think this has been a readathon that's been going on for a while, but each time they do the readathon, it's a different type of edition. So this is Animal Edition, and this is obviously all to do with Disney, I'm guessing, because all the animals on this are Disney animals. But we have Khan, Thomas O'Malley, Lucifer, Pluto, Raja, Max, Nana and Simba, and all of them have a prompt. So this is a month-long readathon. You can double up on the prompts. I don't think this is point-based or anything like Olympicsathon is. It's just more a bit of fun. I'm glad that we can double up on the prompts, because if we couldn't, I'd be a bit stuck. So for Khan, it is a book with a battle or a war in it, and I've chosen the Poppy War because A, it's got war on the title, and B, it is a mixture of battle and a war in this book, so it really fit the prompt well. And then we have Thomas O'Malley, which, hang on, I actually need to make sure I've got, yeah. So Thomas O'Malley, who is probably one of my favourite Disney animals. I absolutely love the Aristocats. It's one of my favourite Disney movies to watch, to be honest. But that prompt is a book where two people fall in love, and I've done King of Battle and Blood by Scarlett St. Clair, who is the author of A Touch of Darkness, which I read, I love. And this is, to me, an enemies to lovers trope, but we follow, I really don't know how to pronounce her name. I think it's Isolde? I'm not 100% sure, but she is getting married to the vampire king Adrian Alexandra, and basically she's marrying him to kill him, but she ends up falling in love with him. And yeah, like, I've heard a few people read this, not many, but a few have read it. I think Jodie read this and she loved. So yeah, I'm really excited. It's an enemies to lovers, I know that. So that's how I'm going with that trope, because two people do fall in love. Whether it is a disaster waiting to happen, we'll see. Then we're on to Lucifer. He's a little cheeky cat, honestly. His name fits him so well. But his prompt is a book with a big bad, and I was so stuck on that because I was like, what the heck does that mean? It didn't make any sense to me. So I think Becca, she did Becca did a recommendation video, and one of the recommendations for the big bad was numerous things, but one of them was a book that I've been wanting to try, and it's on my 22 books for 2022. So if I read this, I technically knock off a book in that. So we're going with Illuminate by Amy Kaufman and Jay Kristoff. This apparently, I can't remember what the big bad is now. I think it's to do with this mega corporation or something, but basically there's something in this that's a big bad, and it's obvious big bad as well, so when I read it, I'll know. But she said this was one of her good books for that, and like I said, this is a book that I've been meaning to try. It's a sci-fi, but I've heard lots of people say, as much as it's like a space opera, there's other elements in this book too. We've got like romance, we've got lots of like different elements in, and I think because there's different elements that isn't so sci-fi-ish, I might enjoy. But also what's made me really want to try it is it's a mixed media book. We have emails, we've got letters, we've got surveillance footage, we just got random pictures in here as well. I honestly think I'm going to enjoy this because of that. Sydney spoke about this book, and she said she was surprised at how quickly she read it. It's one of those books where you just fly through, and I think out of a sci-fi, this might be the sci-fi for me. And if it is, A, I will continue on with the series, and B, I will know what kind of sci-fi works for me, because at the moment certain sci-fis I've read aren't for me. So if this space opera is my kind of jam, and I like the mixed media type of things, then I can look out for which books will fit well for that. So we're going with this, and I'm hoping we're going to do well with it, because then it does mean that I have ticked off a book in my 22 books in 2022. Then we're on to Pluto, a book with a pet or animal in it. Now originally I was going to put Crescent City on, because Crescent City 1 I was sure there was an animal in, but I wasn't 100% sure, so I scratched that out because I thought I don't want to put it in just in case it wasn't. But I'm currently reading it, and there is an actual blimmin' animal in here, and I'm thinking I could have used that into this prompt. But never mind, I could technically swap it out, but I actually got this book from the library for this prompt, and I really want to read it, so I was like, screw it. I'm reading it, it will make it a bit easier. So I chose The Boy, the Mole, the Fox and the Horse by Charlie Mackesy. So I'm going by this purely because we have different animals in here, and it is the simplest, easiest book going. I'm not going to lie, I'm not keen on the text of this book, because I can be completely honest here, it's a struggle to make out the words. So it's certainly going to be a one where I'm going to have to really concentrate on what letter it is. I'm never good with cursive writing. I love it, it's beautiful, but it's very hard to read. But yeah, I'm really excited to read this. It's just not going to take me long. Like I said, it's very easy, but I thought I need to put an easy book in this because I have a lot of books otherwise. Then we're on to Raja, which is a book set in a different country to me. Poppy Wall. We're going with Poppy Wall because it is. It's in China, I think. Yeah, China. Because that's why I got it for the host book. Yeah, whatever. Then we're going for a book set or beside the sea. I'm going with beach read because we have the beach, we have the sea, and it's about these two people who have gone on holiday to try and get over the writer's block, and I think they swap genres to finish the book sort of thing. But I'm going with it because to me it's a beach read. On the cover they're on the beach, they're next to the sea, so I feel like that's the case. I might be completely wrong, but I'm stretching it because I wanted to read it for this month because it's romance. It's a romance. Everyone loves Emily Henry, and I was just like, I really want to read it, so I'm stretching it. Then we're on to Nana, a book with familial relationships, and there's another Frederick Backman book. We're going My Grandmother Sends Her Regards and Apologies. So this is following 7-year-old Elsa and her grandmother, and I'm not sure what I'm going to think about this book. A lot of people says it's very similar to A Man Called Ove, but I know, I can't remember who it was, but I saw someone do a vlog on BookTube of this book, and they really liked it. It said it made them think of their grandmother, and I'm very close to my nan, and so I kind of feel like if that's how they felt with reading this, then I'm going to feel this. So yeah, I'm really excited to read it. I think it's probably going to give me more A Man Called Ove vibes rather than Beartown ones. But yeah, I'm very intrigued to see how this goes. I know she's got other books. I know there is other books by him. Like on here is Britt Marie Was Here. So I think I might start buying more of his work. But yeah, I'm really interested to see how this goes, because apparently Elsa's granny is a superhero, and her superpower is storytelling. So I'm intrigued to see where this is, but I know this fits that prompt because they are, you know, a grandparent, granddaughter. It fits. And lastly, we are on to the last animal and prompt, which is Simba, and that's a book with royalty. And we're going again with a King of Battle and Blood because A, we've got King on there, and B, Adrian Alexander Vasiliev, I can't say it, he's actually a vampire king who she marries. So, and we've also got, like, you know, it's very clear that he's a king. It fits. And they did say that it didn't have to be like a book about royalty, even if it is just someone is a king or some part of royalty, it works. So that's what we're going with. And that, my friends, is all of the books for February. There is a ton to read, but a lot of them I do think I'm going to read in one day, purely because I read, you know, the series or whatever. We're hoping we're going out. Alice has got half term. She's got a week off near the end of February, like half term. She's at Dad's for holiday, so I have a full week just to read, and that is what I'm going to do. I am going to try and do vlogs. I definitely want to do the Fairy Elite vlogs, the 12 book challenge vlog. I might try and vlog some of the books for each readathon. We'll see. We'll see how it goes. But my main focus at the moment is to read Crescent City 1, just because I want to just get that in my head. But I'm going to binge read it today, and honestly, I don't think it's going to take me long. If I can finish it today, that would be fantastic, but I don't think I will. I think it will be like probably the following day. But once I've got that, I will then focus on the books in Olympicsathon. But like I said, I have got 2.5 weeks for that, and the other readathon is a whole month, so I do have time. I don't have to rush. We'll see. But yeah, if you've read any of these books, let me know your thoughts. And if you're taking part in any of these readathons, let me know. And yeah, thank you for watching. Take care of yourselves, and see you again soon. Bye.